Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the Beyond Bitcoin show. Today is January the 5th, 2019. Strong hand, unconfiscatable. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Personal responsibility is the new counterculture. Conviction, deferral of gratification. We'll be talking about those final 3 points a lot today. Hello, everyone in the chat. Remember, you can do the super chat to ask me questions. So let's start off with a little bit of a week in review. It's been quite a week, hasn't it, in Bitcoin and in real life. I want everyone to check out yesterday's This Week in Bitcoin show, linked to below at disruptmeister.com. Of course, everything I talk about in this video is linked to below. Now, it's like a tale of two videos, basically. It's one video, but it's two stories. At first, I only had Maximo from Venezuela on, and he gave some excellent stories from Venezuela that actually went beyond Bitcoin. So if you're interested in subjects that pertain to real life in Venezuela, check the first 44 minutes of the show out. At around the 44-minute mark, Murad showed up, and so did Andy Hoffman. And well, the rest is history. They got into a Andy used to be known as Ranting Andy, I think, in his precious metals days, even before I knew him. Because I was familiar with him from the Greg Hunter show, which is a total doom show, which has gone down the drain lately. I haven't watched it for quite some time. But before I even found out about Andy Hoffman, he was so supposedly wild back in the day of some of the precious metals. And he was known as Ranting Andy. Well, he definitely went on a rant. So you guys can check. This Week in Bitcoin was at first it was pretty straightforward, some great Venezuela stuff. And then 44-minute mark, yeah, so people have been talking about it. People have been sending me tweets about it. I am TechBalt on Twitter, by the way. Follow me there. Great. Well, if I do say so myself, I do retweet some great people out there. And I put out an occasional original tweet, too. I like to make my original content here in the video realm, though, on YouTube. So Friday was obviously a fun time, right? And it was the day after the 10-year anniversary of Bitcoin, which was, of course, on Thursday. So Thursday, and again, someone just asked me in the chat, what show are you talking about? Let me make this clear. Yesterday's This Week in Bitcoin show. It's linked to below. You go to disruptmeister.com. It's there. It's the show I have every Friday on this very channel. So going back to Thursday, now Thursday's show was wild in its own way. I did a live stream from the 10-year anniversary party of Bitcoin here in Tel Aviv. And it was basically put on by the people at the Tel Aviv Bitcoin Embassy. The Tel Aviv Bitcoin Embassy the Tel Aviv Bitcoin community is incredible, is impressive, is friendly, and it's just an honor to be part of it here. I'm going to be here for quite some time. And they are my friends, and they are good people, and they put on this was at a real club, real DJs, real women were there. And again, you don't have to value your wealth in women, but a lot of people like to have women at their party. There were many technology women there. I thought the dance floor might be empty. There were women there, beautiful women. Again, you don't have to value your wealth in women. I don't value my wealth. I value my wealth in Bitcoin. But back in my day, I know when I would go to a club, I would like to see what I saw there. What I saw there on Thursday night was a good. So I tried the live stream. Okay, unfortunately, we're sharing the internet there, and it was very choppy. It was very choppy. You didn't get the whole picture. I do link below to a short clip from there that was not done by me. It actually was done by the woman who won the free trip there, the Austrian woman who won the free trip to Tel Aviv to come to the party. And I met her. I recognized her. Like, I walked into the party, I wanted to set up my computer and everything. And I said, there's that Austrian woman. I have never met her in my life. but I knew it was her because I'd seen her picture on Twitter. She does a German language podcast. I might have her on the show. Hopefully she'll be on the show one day. She was very nice to speak to. There's a clip from her that she filmed below, but she was a very nice person. I knew who she was right away. I recognized her. Anyway, I'm good like that. Adam Back was there. Yeah, that dude, like a hardcore guy. All sorts of smart people. Just a really fun time. And again, the video that I did, it's like an hour and 40 minutes, played at 2x, skipped through all the bad parts. The bass is pumping. I brought my earplugs with me, by the way, and people were complimenting me on my earplugs. They were like, I wish I brought earplugs. Again, when you always have earplugs with you, always value your ears, value your hearing, because it was loud there. But it was a really good time. And you can tell, some of the people weren't directly involved in Bitcoin. They were involved in technology. Bitcoin is going to be huge. They had interest. They came to a party that had something to do with Bitcoin. So, the situation. Watch This Week in Bitcoin also, because Maximo talks about Venezuela. That's where they need Bitcoin right now. In the first world, we don't need it. We're building things on top of it. And that's like what it is in Israel. They don't need it in Israel. They don't need it in the United States. They don't need it in Germany or Austria or France or Canada or Australia. But so it's interesting to see the contrasting worlds. I have been to Zimbabwe, where I've seen that they need it. But most of the places I go to are very modern. And Israel is so modern. So the technology, again, I cannot stress the brain power that is here in Tel Aviv, and the kindness and the niceness of this Bitcoin community. So again, if you're ever in Tel Aviv, you visit the Bitcoin Embassy on a Sunday night. It's right around the corner from where I'm staying. I'm there every Sunday night until March 13th, probably. All right, so let us continue. Okay, so then, of course, when was New Year's? That was... What day of the week was New Year's? This is the freaky thing. Was it Tuesday night was New Year's Eve? Okay, whatever. It was earlier this week. I think it was Tuesday night was New Year's Eve. Can't even remember. You lose track of day. So in Israel, New Year's Eve day and New Year's Day, they're not holidays. Kids are going to school. Everything is normal. So I did not know what to expect on New Year's Eve. I did my show, and I went out, just walked out. It was I think I was done around 11:15. So I don't try to do big things on New Year's. I didn't plan to go to any clubs. I didn't know if any clubs would be open. So the first thing I did notice is there were a lot of cars on the street. A lot of people were taking cabs. There were some people that were dressed up. So clearly some people were celebrating New Year's Eve. So I get to this main square area where there's a big market. The big market near here, it's a big tourist trap. It's okay. It's great. It's big. But what's the market? I forgot what the market is even called. It's in the middle of Tel Aviv. Well, there's some bars that were open, and you could tell they were having little celebrations, but everyone had kind of spilled out into the square, and there was music playing, and so it was free. It was nice. It was laid back. It wasn't like in the United States, you have to plan everything. You got to go to the club. You got to pay the $40 cover. You must go to the greatest party. You got to dress up a certain way, this, that, and this. I like this because they weren't taking it that seriously. Because again, it's not a national holiday for them. But what I've also noticed as of late, because back in the United States it is winter break for college students, a lot of college students from North America, have come to Israel. There are a lot of Americans and maybe Canadians walking around, and so you could tell who was an American and who was an Israeli, especially the women. The American women were very dressed up for New Year's Eve. They were wearing revealing clothing. So, I saw some revealing stuff out there. But the Israeli women, they were dressed nice, but they had pants on, and they looked very natural. They weren't overdoing it like the American women. They're used to, and again, some of these American women were college students who are just loving it that they can drink when they're younger than 21 here. I don't even know what the drinking age is here. I assume it's under 21. So some of these people that have come to Israel that are college students, they're just here to drink and have fun. When I was 19, I probably do a similar thing. I would go out and get drunk and dress up. No, I wouldn't dress up. No. But again, so it was a great, and then so there was a countdown, and people were counting down in English, and some people were counting down in Hebrew, and then everyone jumps up and down, and they actually started dancing in a circle. That was Israeli-like. And other than that, then that was fine. There was music playing. No one's making no one's fighting or anything. And 12:30, I went back here. that was it. And next day was a normal day. Everybody's working. Everyone's doing. No one was hung. It didn't seem like anybody was hungover. You saw a few things. It was clean, and life went on. So that's my story from New Year's Eve here. It was a stressless New Year's Eve. Sometimes New Year's in the past, it could be, it's just not fun. Back in my day, some of the, you got to plan, where are you going? You're going to meet me here. When you're going to meet me here? It was ridiculous. And that was when I valued my wealth in something other than Bitcoin. So, yeah, that's my New Year's story. I hope everybody was safe on their New Year's. And that's how they do it in Israel. It's pretty, and again, and I'm sure there were some Israelis that were partying it up. There seemed to be some clubs that were open. And again, there were more cabs than usual out, but nothing spectacular here. Everybody back at work the next day. All right. Speaking about being Jewish, that wasn't about being Jewish at all, but I think some of you maybe have noticed this, and I don't know how long I've even been doing this for. I think it's since the summer, since I've been in Calgary. It might have been before, it might have been after. So Friday night is when the Jewish Sabbath starts. Now, I'm not the most religious guy in the world or anything like that, but I did make a conscious decision to get my shows in before the Sabbath started, okay? To get the This Week in Bitcoin show in before the Sabbath. Wherever I am, I get it in before the Sabbath starts, okay? And then you don't see Bitcoin Meister, Adam Meister on the internet again, whether it be on Twitter, wherever, Steam it, etc., until I do this show on Saturday night after the Shabbat ends, okay? So I don't know if anyone's noticed that. I wanted to point that out because a lot of people do contact me during that time period. And I'm not ignoring your emails or your I don't have an internet presence during Shabbat. That's it. I mean, it's something I choose to do, and just maybe if you can still contact me then, but just don't expect an immediate reply or anything like that. And you can reply, send me something afterwards. I'll reply definitely. But that's why this show comes on when it does. It's always going to be at night where I am, and This Week in Bitcoin will always be during the light hours on Friday. So there's a big there can more than 24-hour space between the two shows, let's say. And usually between my shows are spaced insanely. What am I going to do? Usually it should be about 24 hours between every show, Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but you never know what you get here. Again, I do a new show every day. Pound that like button if you like a new show here every single day. And we're going to talk at the end of the show why I had to do the Beyond Bitcoin show. I didn't do one last Saturday. I did it last Thursday, and we'll talk about that in a second. All right. Something I don't even know who was talking about this. On the internet, on YouTube, there are, I talk about fancy sets and graphics. There's just a lot of sterile shows out there. They're very sterile, very clean. And again, it's fancy sets and graphics. Don't be a sterile personality. I mean, you can, there's a format you can follow, and you can do well on YouTube. I mean, you talk about whatever's popular, politics. I don't even know what's popular, okay? And you just do it a set way, and that's it. It's pretty sterile. You can follow a generic form, market it, pay for your views, whatever. It's so sterile. Don't live a sterile life. And everyone can tell that I don't live a sterile life here. Be genuine. Be a very genuine person, and be authentic. This is authentic. I am staying in an Airbnb. I do a show wherever I stay, wherever I am. It's in a room. It's on a laptop. This is me. I keep it real. I have a mic here because I'm borrowing this from the guys at the Tel Aviv Bitcoin Embassy, because I was supposed to use it on the Thursday show, but it was the internet was so bad that I didn't even set this up. And then the music was very loud anyway. All right, Guy Bennett sent, so authentic. Authenticity is very important, and don't be sterile. The sterile, it seems like everybody wants to live in a sterile environment this day, just fit in. Fitting in is overrated. Fitting in is overrated. From the chat room, this is from a Guy Bennett, $5 he sends. Thank you, dude, Guy Bennett. From the chat room, we want a rematch of Andy versus Murad in studio. What an epic show it was with different points of view. Yeah, it was an epic show. Thank you, Guy. And I think, Guy, you pointed it out to me on Twitter. Somebody said it to me on Twitter. I think it was you. You could tell these shows aren't scripted. Yeah, you can definitely tell that This Week in Bitcoin show has no script at all. And I had no idea that was going to happen. I mean, it was like we go from a very calm one-on-one show of Maximo and I talking about, and it wasn't supposed to be that. It was supposed to be 3 guests. But Murad had an issue. My guest in Israel totally, I don't know what happened to him. I still don't know what happened to him. And I needed when I'm asking Maximo questions, here's some behind the scenes stuff. When I'm asking Maximo questions and I'm paying attention to him, I'm tweeting to people, sending DMs to people. Rodolfo Novak, I sent something to. I sent something to Andy Hoffman. I said, get on the show. Can you get on the show? Because I knew it was early I was early in Toronto where Rodolfo was. It was even earlier where Andy was in Colorado, but I knew he's up early sometimes. I wanted a second person on at that point. And it was right around that same time. Murad said, hey, I can come on now. So Murad came on. Andy said he could come on. Rodolfo said he couldn't come on. And from there, the rest is history. And so Andy didn't know who was going to be on. Murad didn't know Andy was going to be on. I didn't even know Andy was going to be on until 2 minutes before Andy was on. And well, you saw what you got there. You definitely saw. It's fun to do these shows. It's really fun, and I'm glad I can give you guys a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff. But that show changed, and I thought it changed fast. And I mean, I really thought the conversation that Maximo and I were having was great. It was great. And he chimed in during the debate some too, of course. So yeah, it was like 2 different shows in one. Enjoy it, people. It's below. You never know what you're going to get. And yeah, we'll have it. It'll be at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Tel Aviv time next Friday, 1 p.m. London time, hopefully. And 8 a.m. New York time next Friday. And it's so early because I got to get it done before the Sabbath starts. All right. So now everybody knows the whole thing. We talked about Sterile. Oh, the T-shirt that I'm wearing is, of course, the All Good Labs. All Good Labs is linked to below. There's some hipsters in New York that make Bitcoin shirts and Bitcoin stuff, and they're into Bitcoin. So good for All Good Labs, allgoodlab.com, I think it is. They're linked to below. Just check them out. All Good Lab. He's a nice guy. Send me the shirt. All right. Scott Adams. We have a lot to talk about on the show. Wow. How long have I been on? All right. Scott Adams. He's the guy behind Dilbert. He's got a show out on YouTube. He can be interesting sometimes. Again, he's I think he pumps up Trump. I think he gives Trump a lot of credit. I think a lot of stuff that Trump does is not I think Trump is very spur of the moment, and Scott Adams tries to make it like Trump is, 4 steps ahead of the game and is planning all of this out. It's probably somewhere in between. That's not the point of all this. Scott Adams comments that socialism is younger people in America are more willing to accept socialism now. And so Scott Adams says, well, clearly socialism isn't the answer, and clearly capitalism isn't the answer. And he's implying that what we have in the United States now is capitalism. And so he says we need a third way where the government can encourage some technologies. So let's take some step back here. What we have in the United States now is not capitalism at all. It's crony capitalism. It's already what Scott Adams is suggesting, that the government is favoring certain businesses. It gives certain businesses tax credits. It gives certain industries, it bails them out. And it does help certain technologies, green technology. I mean, there's all sorts of government, or all sorts of ways they skew the market, and they don't let certain people fail, individuals fail, companies fail, industries fail. They don't let certain ones fail. Again, someone can say, well, banking is a technology. They should be giving the banking. And yeah, they did give the banking. They bailed out the bankers. And again, so Scott Adams also He mentioned something about, wealthy people don't care if they lose money, or so he said. And he says, I'm a wealthy person. And I think it's good that he said that, because I don't think he grasps what's really going on, in terms of this isn't, he wouldn't, if there was more government intervention, he wouldn't mind if he lost money. He wouldn't mind if he paid for it. He's rich. He doesn't mind. He says he doesn't mind, but he's also in a state where he's not aware that what this third way that he's suggesting is what we already have in the United States. There already is government intervention pushing certain industries. And again, this is almost toward fascism. I mean, he's almost suggesting fascism. I mean, the government, well, he wasn't saying that the government should control certain industries and pick it should pick winners in certain industries. I mean, that's basically what fascism is. Okay, we're not going to get into that. I'm not going to discuss fascism. The point is that Scott Adams does not realize that we do not have true capitalism. And again, if I was in charge, I would say, no government intervention, nobody gets bailed out. Let's try out true capitalism. Because we do know that socialism is a failure. It's unfortunate that many people think this is a cool thing now. That what's her name? Cortez is a very attractive 29-year-old. And so people are getting into it because, she's a much better spokesman for it than Bernie Sanders. I mean, of course, more young people are going to be like, well, wait a second, she's hot. What's she? Maybe she's got, that's so mindless. And again, you don't get emotional into these things, but a character like, and whatever her name is, Cortez, the dancer, the bartendress, she can get people emotional. And a lot of conservative people are wasting they've got Cortez derangement syndrome. Ignore her. Who cares? This is the thing. I'm talking about capitalism, fascism, Scott Adams isms. Just, you don't have to worry about any of it if you're in the Bitcoin overlay. They can't take that. And remember that. So Thinking Ape, pound that like button first of all. Thinking Ape's got a video out there. And it's an interesting one. One of the points of it is, why do pathetic guys on the internet send money to women just to talk to them or to see their pictures of them half nude or who knows what? I mean, it is pathetic. It is pathetic. I don't get it either. Like, there's a lot of free sites you can go to where you can watch video. If you're lonely, I guess these guys value their wealth in women approving of them, like saying their name. It means something that when a woman will say, hey, John, thanks for the $100 you gave me to support my career. And here's a video I'm going to make that has nothing to do with you and has nothing to do with anything you're interested in, but you funded it. That makes some guys feel good. Guys, you're just throwing your money away. Why are you doing that? And then you're the same guys that complain and say we need socialism, right? Because you like you're going to send Anna Cortez, whatever her name is, AOC. I don't even know what her name is. AOC. I'm going to send AOC money. These guys say too, because she'll see my name that I gave her $1,000 to her campaign. And then I'll just still complain that I have no savings, that Bitcoin is too expensive. I got into Bitcoin is only for people who got into it early, even though it's still early. Anyway, I'm kind of dragging this out into the Bitcoin world. But going back to Thinking Ape, if you're a guy that you got to rethink your priorities, dude. You don't need female approval. You just need to approve of yourself. Come on, man. Feel good. Don't give away your hard-earned cash to someone who's just leeching off of you and and probably would admit it and say, yeah, I don't care about that guy that gave me $100. I said his name. He's a sucker. He gave me $100 to say his name. And I did a little dance for him. I mean, you can watch Anna Cortez, whatever her name is, dance now. There's an old video of her dancing from Boston, and she was quite an attractive lady. You don't have to give her any money. You just watch it for free on YouTube. Come on, guys. Come on now. A very interesting point, Thinking Ape. And I think Thinking Ape also is perturbed that women can get into his space on YouTube and make so much money, and they're saying nothing, basically. And he's a very deep thinker. But Thinking Apes, get with the real world. Get with the 80%ers, dude. They don't want to think. They want emotion. They want the quick hit, man. They want the quick hit. They want the little approval. Oh, I saw a hot woman. I want to just, listen to whatever she's got to say, or not even listen, just look at her again. And that is sterile. I want to, this clean, beautiful woman who looks so flawless to say my name. And it's a sterile woman. It is. That's not what women really look like in real life. Trust me, dude. Everyone's got their flaws. No one's perfect. And you be authentic to yourself, and don't follow the sterility of these fake, and they're fake in many ways. But hey, they're going to do what they're going to do. Personal responsibility is a new counterculture. They're going to try to make money. It's your responsibility to avoid that stuff. Don't get dragged into that, dudes. I don't get it at all. And I've heard of even worse things than that. Some guys. And if you're lonely, watch my videos. I'm your friend, dude. I'm trying to get you better. Just get you off that addiction to female attention or female approval. I don't get it, man. Okay. Talked about Thinking Ape. What's this legendary? It says legendary here. What's it say? Oh, this is from Human. Human is another great content creator out there. I've talked about him before. Human's the best, probably. He's the best. But Thinking Ape can have he can be biased on certain things. Everyone's got a bias. But okay, Human's got a legendary. So watch this. Where it says Thinking Ape, you don't have to watch that whole video. That's too long. Human, or maybe that one might be short, but Human's video, watch the entire thing. It is legendary. And he says that in today's world, you try to have a conversation, it gets cut short. There's no people don't want to explore anymore, okay? You'll say, I like apples. And then the person will immediately say, well, that means you don't like oranges. I don't want to talk to you. People take personal offense. That's the real culture today. The 80%er culture is personal. Take personal offense at everything. At everything. Take personal offense. That's what it's all about. He says, be curious, not angry. And I agree. I talked about how I'm a curious guy. You should be curious also. Don't be angry. Don't be angry. There's no progress in angry. Be curious. And again, don't take offense. Don't be reactionary. Don't cut people short. But again, that is what it's about on social media today, on Twitter. You get offended. You take personal offense. Someone says they like something. You say immediately you must hate the other thing. And that's it. There's no conversation. So don't be like that. Or you can, but I don't think you're going to make much progress in your life. Stefan Molyneux, he has like an hour video out there. Don't watch the whole thing. I mean, you can if you want to. I watched the whole thing. But one of the points that I took away from it, and I linked to it, all this stuff is linked to below again. He says that when people are young, they often get labeled. Well, that's the class clown. That's the smart kid. That's the quiet kid. You got to drop your label. You got to drop your label. And a lot of times people don't want you to drop your label because they're scared. They're scared that you're going to supplant them. You're going to take their label. Don't allow yourself to be labeled. If you've been labeled, don't be afraid to break away. Go your own way, as they say. You can change yourself at any time. You don't have to be the quiet one anymore. You don't have to be the follower. And there are going to be a lot of people that want to keep you in your place. And that's a good way of putting it. Don't let someone keep you in you don't have a place. Okay? You don't have a place. You can go anywhere. You're free to do anything you want to do. There's no one out there that should tell you, to put pressure on you to say, this is the way you're going to act. You act the way you want to act. Be productive about it, though. Be nice. Be a good person, I say. All right. Again, disruptmeister.com, all my videos. Techbalt.com is all my This Week in Bitcoin videos, including the legendary one from Friday. Techbalt, that's me on Twitter, TCHBALT. And Bitcoin Meister on Steemit. Yes, and this is live on Steemit right now. There still are Steemit haters out there for some reason. I really don't get it. We got to get people off of these YouTube. We need new platforms, okay? I'm willing to try new platforms and get people into cryptocurrency, get people into Bitcoin, excuse me. And we won't talk about that on that show. I've been talking about a lot on my regular Bitcoin shows. Jordan Peterson and what's his name, Dave Rubin, trying to make their own Patreon or maybe doing crypto. That would be great if that happens. If they do crypto, if they do Bitcoin, not make their own Patreon. That's just a waste of time. All right. So let's talk about time here a little bit. I think a lot of you know that I like space exploration. And for years, I knew about the New Horizons probe that was on its way to Pluto. I believe it launched in 2006, and it got to Pluto in 2015. And I knew that day was coming soon. And I was a long-term thinker, and I was like, it's going to happen. It's going, and it was great. When it got to Pluto, it was one of man's greatest accomplishments. And now, just on January 1st, it got to a Kuiper Belt object called Ultima Thule. I can't pronounce it right, which is basically it looks like two balls connected. It looks like a snowman. Okay, it's so far away. Man has never sent an object that far, or at least a probe that far that's still awake, that can take pictures. Some of our probes have gone further, but they're not on anymore. They're not taking pictures anymore. It was supposed to go there. It got there, and it was something you had to wait for a while. That's space exploration is about patience. It's about long-term thinking. It's about deferral of gratification. But they get so much information, and it would be great. And I know it will come soon. And maybe it'll be a Bitcoin billionaire or trillionaire one day that will help fund, because we're going to need private space exploration. Because unfortunately, government-funded space exploration in a whatever we're living in, you can call it a democracy. It's not a democracy, but in what's becoming a democracy. It's supposed to be a constitutional republic, but it's turning into this. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. People aren't voting. Space exploration is not a priority in the United States anymore at all, which is unfortunate. It's about people getting their free stuff. Anyway, I'm not about to encourage people to rely on the government. I don't want something that I love, like space exploration, to rely on the government. I hope some private people can step up and we can have more probes like this. But one of the reasons I bring this up is because I am excited about it, and I think you can learn a lot from it. But it's about deferral of gratification. If you're a space fan, you definitely have to know how to defer gratification. I guess that's why there are a lot of intelligent people. Apparently, intelligent people can defer gratification better than unintelligent people. So they say. I don't know. I think deferral of gratification can be taught. I have said that before. I think you can become success. You don't have to have the highest IQ in the world to learn deferral of gratification. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know. Because I can defer gratification very easily. But maybe if you guys get into space, this will help you become a better Bitcoin holder. That was my point. All right. So speaking of space and speaking of the government and public funding. Well, in the United States, we have this public school system that's funded by the government, and it's horrible. And I would say you're better off as a kid watching content creators like Isaac Arthur, Universe Today, and Event Horizon. These are all space channels. Oh, there's so much information on them. They're all linked to below. Even if you don't like space, check them out. And apparently they have good graphics too. I never watch the graphics, never. Sometimes I'm laying in bed. Sometimes I'm cooking food. I never look at the graphics. I know those guys work very hard on the graphics. That's great, guys. Cool. I'm glad you're working your graphics. I never look at your graphics. But if you like graphics, maybe that'll get you into it, and then you'll pay attention to the content. And I hope one day that, and maybe we've already reached this day, that young people can get a serious education on the internet as is right now. I mean, they can get a better education than they can get in public school. But there are some things that are necessary that public schools kind of provide, socialization. Although some of the socialization is totally ridiculous. People get beaten. It's hard. I mean, we're not going to get into the problems of public school. What I am fascinated by is the future of internet education. I think we're already there on a certain level. And shows like that, I mean, they're niche shows. They're about space exploration, but you can learn about physics, and maybe they'll open your mind to other things, and you'll start if you're a young person. Again, I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm not a 10-year-old anymore. I don't know what it would trigger if I watched it, but I think it would trigger some good things, some more exploration. Guy Bennett sent another $5. Thanks a lot, dude. Let your label be. That's the lucky bee that bought Bitcoin years ago. I'm not going to say the word he said, but because I don't want to, I don't curse. But that's the lucky bee that bought Bitcoin years ago. Yeah, that is one of my labels, I guess. Some people say that to me. They try to label. He's lucky. He's the lucky bee that bought Bitcoin back in 2013, and I bought it in 2014 and 15 and 16 also. But yeah, surely in the year 2024, they'll be saying that about me. That'll be one of the things I'm labeled. That lucky Meister, he bought it early. Oh, God. But again, guys, we are still early. Just think about it. In the year 2028, they'll be saying, oh, 10 years ago, those dudes who bought, they were early. All right. Thank you, Guy Bennett, for the $5. Man, and then you tell people, no, I wasn't lucky. I thought it out. I deferred gratification. Don't label me that way. I'm a defer of gratification. That's what I am. But I am no label. I fit no label. You can label me if you want to, but you're not my boss. Okay, you're not controlling my life. And that's why I had Bitcoin. I didn't fall into the peer pressure of having to buy that house. Oh, you got to buy that house. When people were buying houses my age, I was selling my house and getting Bitcoin. All right. So what else do we have here? Oh, this is a long show. But I'm having a fun time here, so we'll keep on going. So I said, okay, so another thing that Scott Adams has been talking about, and a lot of people love to waste their time worrying about, is global warming. Well, how about this? What is the cost? I mean, some of these people say it's going to cost trillions of dollars to revamp cities to defeat global warming. Okay, so they've come up with some tremendous numbers. How much would it cost to just send a bunch of people to Venus or to a space station or to Mars or to the moon? And not trillions. Well, to build a cloud city in Venus would probably cost about the same as it would to solve global warming. Some of the upper estimates to solve global warming. I forgot the number I saw once. I think it was like $10 trillion. Like you'd have to revamp every city, dude. I don't even know what the heck it was. So, I mean, why don't we... Again, I hate the communal money aspect of it. But if global warming, if spending trillions of dollars on global warming is on the table, wouldn't moving a lot of people off this planet to a new planet, kind of slow down global warming? There wouldn't be as much production on this planet anymore. And it would save the human race. What also, we'd be honest. I mean, that's, people care so much about saving the human race. Getting humanity off this planet and being on whether it be on a space station or on the moon or on Mars or on Venus and the clouds of Venus. Clouds of Venus is a very serious thing. I don't know why people avoid that. That is the perfect temperature there. The glory is about Mars, Elon Musk, and good for him. But it seems to me that colonizing the clouds of Venus, just having a cloud city like in freaking Empire Strikes Back, and you could have like Han Solo there with Billy D. Williams also. I mean, it would be the racial harmony there would be just amazing, wouldn't it? What's his name? I could call him Billy D. Williams, but who was the character? Han Solo and it was Lando. It was Lando Calrissian. He was a ladies' man. Well, back then he was a ladies' man. Then they changed him. Anyway, okay. So going back. But yeah, why isn't that an option? When we're talking about global warming, let's get into space. I'm throwing it out there. It's probably might be cheaper to increase the space. But again, people want the glory. They're stuck to this earth. Let's look beyond this earth, man. Let's look beyond this earth. But again, I'm not looking for a government solution here. Everybody can yell about global warming. I'm not getting into that debate. Although some people might say, Adam, you just got into this debate. You said just do space exploration instead. Well, then maybe I did there a little bit. But I'm not saying global warming is true or untrue. I'm just saying, well, here's another option. Then we'll see what happens to the globe. If we all die here because of global warming, well, there'll be humans living on Venus. That'll be great. Humanity will continue. And we could get everybody off the planet. And again, how about this? In order to create a space colony, be it on Mars, Venus, or a space station, we would have to develop some incredible technologies that we don't have yet. And whenever we have developed these forced ourselves to create these incredible technologies, they have really improved the world. I mean, we live in the space race produced just an incredible increase in technology, how comfortable people are in life. So, I mean, maybe if we were trying to figure out how to build cloud cities on Venus and exploring Venus, we would come up with solutions that at the same time would help the global warming here on Earth. Who knows? Who knows? But entrepreneurs, step it up. Come on. Winklevi brothers, once you guys become trillionaires, Cloud City, Venus, Lando Calrissian, you guys can party it up. Oh my God. And those dudes, you know, they used to party too. Those dudes, they're like 6'6" athletes. Who knows what they were doing over there at Harvard? Pound that like fun. All right. That's their business now. Okay. They were probably they were ladies, man, like Lando was. Okay. What are we talking about? Venus. Okay, so here's another. We're talking about various distractions in life here. And there is one distraction that I'm sure some of you might be thinking about today and tomorrow that I've not thought about since the beginning of 2016. As everyone probably knows, I used to be a big Baltimore Ravens NFL fan. But at the beginning of the NFL season, when I was in Las Vegas in 2016 in September, I was like, this is all politics now. I'm not participating. It's a waste of my time. I no longer watch the Ravens. I would know their record for various reasons. My father would sometimes bring it up to me, blah, blah, blah. And so now it's 3 seasons in. I haven't paid attention to the Ravens, and they made the playoffs, which I did know, obviously. I did know. And so they play in a playoff game tomorrow. I will not watch it. I will not watch it. I will just put that out there right now. And I just wanted to say to all the NFL people out there, because they've had playoff inflation. Like in the NFL, it's all the teams are basically the same level. Anyone can make it. And so don't think your team's so special that you made the first week. There are 12 teams in there now. If you win tomorrow or today, you make it to the round of when there are 8 teams left, then yeah, 8 out of 32 teams, you're in the top 25%, then you're good. This is just like the 17th game of the season if you're in there. And I know if you're watching Baltimore, you're saying, Adam, how can you say this? We're going to beat the Chargers. Okay, beat it. Great. Don't waste too much time on it. I haven't wasted too much time on it. I do know if my dad was around, he would be watching the game. So there's a part of me that's like, I'll talk about it, because I know my dad would have been watching the game. But he did like that stuff. He was a retired guy. He had a lot of free time. To each his own. That was his thing. He grew up with the Baltimore Colts, baby. And he taught me all about that stuff, about the Colts from the 1960s and the 1958 and the Orioles from 66 and 70. And yeah, good stuff. He was from a different time. The whole NFL was different back then. Definitely was a different time to be around. Baltimore was much working class, safe place back in 1958. But those times are gone, and anyway, it's become a very political thing now. But I just wanted to point that out. I know that is going on, and I will say this. If the Ravens do, if the Ravens make the AFC title game, I'll watch it. I'll watch that. And then the next game's a Super Bowl. I would watch those 2 games. I would watch. Because again, it's just 2 games. It's just 2 games, But I have no idea. I don't even know who's on the team anymore or anything like that. But again, you guys can tell I do have a history of paying attention to that stuff. Every boy who grew up in Baltimore, my dad grew up in Baltimore, loved the Baltimore Colts. It's hard to explain. It's hard. You had to have been there. I wasn't there, but I definitely heard the stories. What do we got here? Guy Bennett sent $5, and he said the Winklevoss twins were pounding more than the like button back then. Sorry, had to be said. Oh yeah, they were. They definitely were. I mean, they valued their wealth in the ladies, definitely. I mean, that's what you do in college when you're the big stud athlete guys. I mean, they must have been every woman's dream. They're like, look at those 6'6" hunks. They're so great. Yeah, that's life. That's what happens in college. I've been in college before. I wasn't the 6'6" hunk in college, but I was a guy. I like girls. You see what happens. Guy Bennett, thank you for this the $5 in the super chat. Okay, continuing. I'm sure some people, if you're really young, you're like, the Colts played in Baltimore? Aren't they the Indianapolis Colts? Yeah, they played in Baltimore. All right, so what's this here? Oh yeah, New York Magazine. How much of the internet is fake? They have an article about all the bots out there that click on advertisements and all that stuff. Guys, this has been going on the whole life of the commercial internet. So much of the ad, all these people, as I used to be involved in the industry in marketing and at banner ads and all that stuff. So many of the clicks are fake. Are just bots going around, and the salesmen tell the clients, "Oh yeah, look at your click rate. Oh, look at all these people." It's not real humans most of the time. Most of the time, I don't even know what time. And again, some people do, but still, it's worth it for some people. It's worth it for some people. But oh my God, so many of the clicks on the internet are fake. And again, people for their YouTube channels buy clicks. It is. I didn't read this whole article, but yeah, there's a lot of fake out there on the internet. That can skew numbers. So be careful if you're paying for numbers. If you're an advertiser, are people really looking at your banner? Are people really coming to your site? Are people going to really buy your product? I don't know. How many buy-throughs do you get? How many buys do you get from your ads? There's so many free things out there. You make your own YouTube. You just have to go the extra mile. Make your own YouTube pages. Make your own Twitter feed. Become popular. Become an expert in something and then sell something. I don't know. Because when you pay for some of these numbers, when you're paying for it's fake. It's someone set up a machine that just clicks. And they have a way to make it seem like they're real people doing it too. All right. And that's been going on for a long time. This isn't anything new, because a lot of people like to talk about fake news, fake this, fake that. No, the fake internet has been around for quite some time in terms of clicks. All right. China in Africa. This is from the TaiwanNews.com. So it's going to be a little biased, I guess, because Taiwan is no friend of China. Long live Taiwan, by the way. I was in Taiwan about a year ago now. They're pretty capitalistic there, baby. And they are not part of China, and they will never be part of China unless China is no longer what China is. So, Taiwan is the real China. Pound that like button. All right, but here's their article. China's African debt trap. Beijing prepares to seize Kenya's port of Mombasa. Nairobi fails to repay massive debts on shady loan for underperforming railway. Kenya infrastructure ripe for taking. Okay, yeah, so I've said this before. The Chinese lend all these African nations money. The kings or dictators, are short-term thinkers. They're like, oh, look, I'm getting bribed by the Chinese. I'll be dead by the time they try to collect on this, or they don't even think they're going to collect on it. Who knows what they think? They just like getting their new gold Cadillacs or whatever. Well, China has started to say, you owe us. We're going to take your port. And so, again, I had predicted this. Eventually, there'll be a whole country they totally just take over, and they'll run it their way, their centralized way, a credit system. Again, they're control freaks in China, and that's what these leaders have signed up for. They'll probably be dead, and so even if they're not dead, they'll probably be like, well, the Chinese will just guard me, and they're probably right too. They're probably right, and on some level, if the Chinese take over some of these African countries, some African countries are in horrible shape and would be very appreciative of the infrastructure. But I don't think the people will they probably won't like their Chinese overlords. They'll probably be somewhat jealous that they couldn't clean up their country the way the Chinese are. And they will be, in a sense, they will be serfs of the freaking Chinese. And they probably won't like that either very much. But this is... Dudes in Africa, get into Bitcoin and you can leave your country. if this ever happens to your country, God forbid it happens to your country, that that your so-called leader sells out to the Chinese and they come to collect. They will come to collect slowly but surely. And again, if you're in Africa and you're still obsessed with European colonization, you better wake up to this, because this is going to be much worse. It's going to be they're not going to leave. When they take over, they're not going to leave. They're not going to say, "Oh, we're the better people. You can have your land back. We were colonized." No. It's going to be a very interesting world in the next few decades. Very interesting to see what the Chinese will do with their African possessions once they're in possession of them. And I know it sounds pretty brutal, and that's why I'm telling you, if you're in one of these countries, you take personal responsibility. You see what's going on. Get into Bitcoin. So if you don't like who's taking over your country, you can leave, and you'll take your wealth with you in 1 second. But how about this? I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again. 2019 is the year of no blaming. For me, I'm not here blaming anybody. Again, the Chinese are going to do what they're going to do. The Africans are going to do what they're going to do. Hey, you can prepare. Think long term. Think long term. I'm not here to. If I encounter a problem, I'm going to try to figure out that problem. I'm not going to try to find the person to scapegoat. And again, we all fall into traps sometimes when we blame others. But let's all try 2019, year of no blaming. I think that's very productive. Personal responsibility. Yeah. And I said that I said that New Year's, I don't call it a New Year's resolution. I said that last week also. I wanted to say it again. So last Thursday was the Beyond Bitcoin show. What happened? The internet here where I'm staying was not working. I had to record the show on my computer. Then I had to get the show, and I only had notes for a Beyond Bitcoin show. I did not have notes for the regular show. So I just decided I'm going to do a Beyond Bitcoin show early. It was raining. I'll go over to the Bitcoin embassy. I'll upload it there. And I hadn't even eaten yet. I just had to do this. This is the conviction I have to get this show out every single day. And so by the time I got back, by the time everything was uploaded, it was late here. And I ate. But then I decided, I've eaten so late today on Thursday that tomorrow I can't. I'm just going to skip tomorrow. So I had a 41-hour fast, an impromptu, unplanned 41-hour fast just to get this show out. And again, I like my fast. I think I try to have 41-hour fast or 48, whatever you want to say. When you totally skip a day, again, so I didn't eat a thing on Friday. I had water. That's what fasting is. You can have water when you fast. But I usually do that when I'm on a plane. And that was still in December. So I thought I had done my last December fast, but hey, I had an extra December fast last week. So I still have to do my January. When I say extra, again, 41-hour or more fast. As all of you know, I fast at least 22 hours every single day. So that's intermittent fasting. But I do have longer fasts when I'm on a plane, or at least once a month, which ends with, and again, it ended up I forgot the number now, but in the year 2018, I skipped a month of eating. Literally, again, it wasn't a consecutive month. It was spread over the whole year. But for 1 month, I didn't eat. If you added up all the days I took off, which included a 120-hour fast that was in there at one point. Okay, enough of that. Health, little health tip from Adam. But yeah, man, the show must go on here. The show must go on. And sometimes you skip a meal, you skip a day eating. I considered it a benefit. I'm like, I needed to skip a day anyway. Okay, so that's conviction. I'm stuck on my health program and on my internet program here. Baltimore Sun has an article. Tax assessments rise in every Maryland county in 2019, an average of 9.1%. Oh, all you homeowners out there, did you just hear that? That means your taxes are going, your property taxes are going up also. Now, again, some of you have if you don't live in your house, your taxes are going up that much, okay? Now, there is a homestead tax credit for people who've lived in their house. That's not going to help everybody. I'm not going to get into all the Maryland tax credits or whatever, but here's the point. people are like, oh, all these policemen and government workers have such great pensions. Yeah, you're paying for them. The appraisal of your property, just your tax assessment, went up 9.1% in the state of Maryland. That's ridiculous. That's how they're getting. So you think, oh, the value of my house has gone up. No, the taxes you pay are going up too. Again, that doesn't happen with Bitcoin. I don't pay policemen's pensions with my Bitcoin. I don't have to worry about the assessment that some government official does on my Bitcoin. That doesn't exist. Okay, I don't have to pay property. There are no property taxes on Bitcoin. Maybe in some countries there are. Who knows? But you get the point. Real estate isn't all that it's cracked up to be. That's just another reminder from the state of Maryland. Baltimore Sun, link to below. All right, almost over here. Final link of the day. This is from a Bcash guy, actually. Andreas Birkin. It has nothing to do with Bcash. Privacy is increasingly a luxury good enjoyed by the rich. The poor will have their lives bought and sold to the highest bidder before they're even born. From Walmart predicting that your mom is pregnant to a funeral home predicting your death. It's a very interesting point. Poor people are very much willing to sell out their privacy and their personal information for cheap. They're going to be the people who are going to volunteer to be chipped. I know it sounds like fantasy, and I would never be chipped. I wouldn't let someone chip me, but they'd be like, oh, for your health, let's chip you. But again, that also keeps track where you are. And they're going to let their newborn children be chipped just for an extra $100 or an extra Obama phone or an extra big screen TV. It's a very interesting look at things here. Privacy is increasingly a luxury good enjoyed by the rich. Well, I'd say it's enjoyed by the smart and the people who can defer gratification. Don't sell out your privacy for some quick hit, for some quick prize. Treasure your privacy. And get into the Bitcoin overlay or get into the Monero overlay if you really want. No. Bitcoin is the one, baby. Bitcoin is the one. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. And don't get out of the banking system where or all of these systems where your personal information is being you give your personal information to one organization, it just sells it to another one. The banks sell your information probably. Who knows what finance? Again, Bitcoin doesn't sell your information. You buy Bitcoin, you can do it privately enough, no one's going to sell your information if you do it the right way. Whatever, you can look into that yourself. But hey, that's the end of the show. Bang that bell button. Someone said something here. Thanks, Victor. That was very nice. Victor said, think about how much better the world would be if people like the Bitcoin Meister are rich. Well, who knows? It's a very nice compliment. I believe, in the Bitcoin world at least, that there are a lot of people that are going to end up wealthy that have a similar mindset to me. People who could defer gratification, at least. You could say that. Now, some of their views on other aspects of life might not be the same as mine, but that basic deferral of gratification quality in people that are in the Bitcoin overlay, they're going to end up being wealthy because of that similar personality trait, quality, similar ability to defer gratification that I have. So yeah, that was very nice of you to say. Okay, I'm Adam Meister, Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video, bang that bell button, pound that like button, click on those squares. I'll say hi to you guys in the chat. Thanks for all the support. And yeah, see you tomorrow.